have SlayersBoxer versus EG.Idra. Um
Alright, welcome back everyone. This is Winter with Game 2 of the Slayers Tribute Casting Marathon.
Why is your face on the screen?
Once again, another
How
ZVT,
pretentious.
the second game in the series between Idra and Boxer. And in the first game, we saw Boxer take it pretty convincingly by hiding his Blue Flame Hellion drop play and just roasting away everything Idra have. But now, Idra on Teldream Altar is going to be spawning in the top left-hand corner. We'll see if he can put up a little bit more of a fight against Boxer.
This is the highest quality, right?
Well, in the bottom left-hand corner, it's going to be SlayerSboxer,
720p, they said.
Trying to see if he can just close this series out in only 2 games. Alright, now Boxer, last game he was able to hide that strategy from Idra, but Idra probably will not be so easily duped this game, and not quite as good of a map to do that same strategy. He's not in great positions to execute any drops into the main base.
Oh yeah,
of course,
map.
Zerg players are always a little bit stressed out about a tank push that occurs at their natural, where they can kind of abuse the cliff to hit the high ground with their Marines, dropping some Hellions off on top of the siege tanks behind, and there are no siege units for Zerg at that point, so it's very annoying to deal with. We'll see what strat Boxer chooses to go with. He's not choosing the wall off his front. He's instead getting the depot a little bit further back, not even caring, knowing Idra will not be going for that early aggression play, but instead we'll just be playing it out.
Would you guys like to learn about
Boxer
every build
to get the barracks
at
a little bit
one
further
time?
Back in his vein, a little bit more economically feasible, and allows him to make those add-ons, to make anything else he wants, because in these positions,
have I got the caster
tough.
for you?
Add-ons for the Terran player are sticking out, where they're very vulnerable to Zerglings running by, Baneling attacks, Roach attacks, so on this map you really don't want to have your add-ons vulnerable if the Zerg goes for any early pressure, and it looks like Boxer just going to follow up with that gas on 13 right after the barracks. No one-rax expansion for Boxer here. Probably going to go straight into that Reactor Hellion play we saw last game and try to just deny creep from Idra,
what an outdated
maybe
build.
Kill off a couple workers, see what he can do early game, and then transition into that Hellion Marine play that Slayers Terrans are just so fond of. Now Idra choosing to go with the hatch first. Sadly, well, actually, it looks like the first Overlord is going to be going in, and we'll see what base Boxer's at. So a little bit of a win there for Idra. Gonna have that early intelligence that he so
Mono
needs.
Esports still
While Boxer
exist?
just choosing to wall off with some supply depots at his natural.
Not an SC2.
Boxer sending out his SCV in the wrong direction, just gonna check for the expansion. Of course, he could have no idea where Idra was at the beginning of the game. He had
Some
a
big
33%
name
chance of
teams
sending it
that
the right way.
started in
And just kinda
SC2,
sucks
you
for
might
him
know.
that he didn't. But checking the expansion, seeing there's no
EG
hatch,
and
is going to allow him
Energy.
to move up to the cross positions. But once he sees the Overlord, he should be able to figure out exactly what's going on. And the first Marine, looks like Boxer actually going to want to put on a little bit of pressure with that first Marine. Maybe kill a drone or two, force him off the line. If the SCV was in range of the hatch a little bit earlier, maybe he could have thrown down a bunker, put on a little bit of early pressure. But that pretty much, just because the SCV was not scouting in the right direction, is going to be stopped for the time being. Now Boxer gonna finish 2 Marines and start up the reactor to switch to his factory.
Is that a solo cup?
The first Marine coming up, gonna take a couple shots at the Overlord. Here comes the SCV. We'll see if he wants to create a bunker, but now that the hatch is finished, creep is already beginning to spread.
Water.
Looks
oh
like this
my
is just
god.
for scouting, especially now.
Oh yeah,
the
I was
first couple
poor.
Zerglings
Look at the
on
quality.
way. A single Marine, not especially effective. Once you get up in the 3, 4, or 5 count, maybe some slow Zerglings
Please subscribe.
won't be as much of a threat. But Boxer will see absolutely everything that's going on. He'll count the gas. He'll see speed is about 20 gas away. And he won't be worrying too much about early Zergling run-bys like he might have last game, where Idra went for that gas first build.
What's that wall?
Now, Boxer just going to wall off with that command center. Going for the exact same build we saw last game, the Reactor Hellion expand, only a single gas geyser. Pumping out those Hellions. We'll see if he chooses to hide them until he has 4, or goes with the first 2. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes with the first 2 this game, because Idra probably knows what's up at this point, and here comes Boxer moving those Hellions out. He just wants to roast away as many Zerglings as he possibly can, deny as much creep as he possibly can, before that speed starts to kick in and drive back those Hellions if Idra uses them effectively. Now Boxer continuing to create Hellions. We'll see if he switches it out with the barracks and chooses to go for the blue flame once again. Now, a few of the slow Zerglings going to get caught. Boxer going to be able to take him down with that Infernal Pre-Igniter right now. Or, wait, what do you call him? Infernal Flamethrower. Infernal enough. But oh, Are there actually any queens back in the main? It looks like EG.Idra tried to wall it off. Boxer has now a couple Hellions, and now he's going to choose to move them in. The drone's starting to line up a little bit right now. A couple slow Zerglings will stymie him for the time being. EG.Idra trying to split his drone so he takes minimum damage. These queens struggling to make their way back onto the creep so they can effectively deal with these Hellions, but speed has not kicked in quite yet, and that's a lot of drones lined up. But it's like just enough slow Zerglings will be able to deny this, but he's forced so many Zerglings already. It looks like Boxer's done already the damage he wanted to do, but oh, a Spine Crawler. Is he actually going to take out not a single Hellion? Boxer doing an amazing job of keeping all his Hellions alive, and he's barely lost anything. He's lost an SCV, he's killed a lot of Zerglings, and he forced a lot of, well, he's forced a lot of Zerglings right now. Speed will kick in for the single Zergling, but he's not quite going to be able to take out that Hellion. It only has 2 HP remaining. That's a single Zergling hit right there, but well done by Boxer. He's just going to force him to take his expansion, and at the same time, getting his Blue Flame, building a Starport. It looks like he's just going to go for that same Hellion drop Marine play that we saw last game, but will EG.Idra be prepared for it? He has a decent chunk of speedlings on the map. This is a map where it doesn't really come as a surprise. He's going to have to go by the Watchtower. He's going to have to go by some Overlords if he wants that drop to be effective. And right now, Boxer just forming up to make more Hellions. That's pretty much what he's been doing all of these games. Has the reactor on the barracks just because he switched out from the factory. And his Hellion count's looking pretty strong. 6 Hellions against 8 Zerglings.
The whole strat is
just struggling to move that drone count up over 40. Just now going to make it with those 3 drones, bringing him up to 43. Another Spine Crawler being made to prevent a run by, but that will do absolutely nothing if that Medevac comes into play right now. A couple Zerglings looking to counterattack as soon as Boxer moves out. He doesn't have the Watchtower though. A couple Blue Flame Hellions will be able to hold it. Now EG.Idra will see that Blue Flame has entered the field and will have to account for that. He's got the Baneling Nest on the way. A Roach Warren might be the safe bet, but I don't know. EG.Idra, a pretty stubborn player, might not choose to get that Roach Warren. Instead, maybe just try to deal with it with Speedlings. That might not be the ideal situation.
Pretty stubborn player.
Yeah. And the Marines inside. Hellions as well on the ground, being much faster than the Medevac. No reason to put him in there. But now a very strong attack coming in. Does he still have Marines? He does not have Marines in the bunker. EG.Idra has seen this attack, and now Boxer's going to have to deal with a run-by. The reactor has come right back onto the factory. He's going to have Hellions popping up, but right now, Boxer simultaneously executing a drop while there were Zerglings in his main, but here comes the drop right now, but there's a Spine Crawler kind of denying it, targeting down the Medevac. It looks like the SCVs are forced to be pulled to deal with the drop shot right now. He's just targeting down the Spine Crawler. The Spine Crawler going to get at least one of the Hellions. But here come more of the Zerglings. How many workers have been lost? 18 workers have been killed right now.
For
EG.Idra, well, not a single one lost of his own. But is this just too many Hellions? He doesn't have any Banelings yet. There are no more Spine Crawlers. And suddenly Boxer is starting to do a lot of damage right now. Looks like the Zerglings have finally been cleaned up. And now Boxer doing the damage in the main. There's no Spine Crawlers here. Well, single Spine Crawler in the middle line. The Banelings will be eaten by the Marines, but there's still 6 Blue Flame Hellions to deal with. One will get targeted down right now. There's only the Spine Crawler and 4 Speedlings as he moves into the Gas Geyser, roasting away a couple of the drones, just doing so much damage right now. Workers killed 20 to 6. EG.Idra still in the lead. We're still looking at 43 workers to 22. But how is he going to deal with these Blue Flame Hellions? All he has is Zerglings and Banelings, and no Banelings have been morphed quite yet. The Speedlings look like they're going to take out another Hellion, but that still leaves 4, enough to easily one-shot the pack of drones right there. And Boxer doing so much damage, more Hellions making their way up into the main as the Queen struggles to make their way by. Oh, roasting away so many drones at the same time in the natural. More Hellions of Boxer going to make their way in. Some huge hits coming down, but the Speedlings look like they may be able to just deny it. But Boxer keeping on the pressure. He's still continuing to make Zerglings. Oh, one last Hellion in the main. Looks like it will just barely be taken out by the Queen. And yes, the Zerglings will clean it up. Let's look at the damage done. 20 workers killed by EG.Idra, but that very clutch counterattack, while Boxer still looking at 29 to 40. Not a terribly bad spot with 2 command centers right now. He's continuing to pump out Hellions, and as I say that, he's not actually making any Hellions, but I believe he will as soon as he has the money for him. He's up to 4 barracks, finishing up Stim right now, and continuing that Medevac production. He does have a reactor there, and a couple of the Speedlings are going to try to run by the bunker, but the army there will almost instantly deny it. A Hellion moving out just to scout. It is faster than those Speedlings off creep, so he will be able to, well, it's at least fast enough to escape from the Speedlings off creep. So he will be able to deny any Zerglings scouting.
A lot of damage, but Boxer just didn't have a wall, and he lost 20 SCVs.
For a timing where suddenly Boxer, he has Marines, he has Hellions, he has Stim, and all EG.Idra has to deal with it is Lings and
That's what happened in this game.
But right now, Baneling speed about halfway done. If he can finish that up and he gets Boxer on the creep, he can clean up an attack like this very easily, but Where are the Lings going? He saw the dropship, but now he has to go all the way back to his main. He kind of missed it for the time being. There's no way Boxer's going to drop that off on top of a bunch of Hellions. He's a very strong player. He's always going to be paying attention to what needs to be paid attention to. And now here comes Boxer. He's actually taking the supply lead right now. The army supply looking very strong. 37-9. Oh, he's going to drop the Hellions off.
Is he paying attention?
And he's going to be denied almost instantly by
what is that? Is that a low ground? Oh my god.
This is a map where that valley is still in play, so he's able to roast away a couple extra Zerglings right now. And
How did we decide that was a good? It's like this is why Terran's won 50% of matches for a year.
He's going to be in a great position to deny these drops as soon as those Mutalisks come out. Boxer is struggling to bolster that Marine count. The Medevac being driven back by the Queens. The creep spread of Idra just now being started up. He has a single Queen spreading creep, but here comes the attack of Boxer. 11 Mutalisks on the way, but there's so many Marines on the field. 25 Marines and 2 Medevacs, easily able to deal with 12 upgraded Mutas. Now that they have Combat Shield and Stim, he needs to split perfectly, though. Idra does not know this attack is coming in quite yet. There are no Banelings on the field and only 18 Lings. That might not even be enough if they are all morphed into Banelings, but here come the Hellions. A couple being targeted down by the Mutas. He needs to pull those back. Oh, not a single Hellion. Lost a single Muta will get taken out. Banelings desperately being morphed behind the army right now, but Muta's going down left and right. Here comes Boxer, and suddenly there's no Banelings on the field. Every single one of the Zerglings getting evaporated. Here come the Blue Flame Hellions. Here come the Marines, and what is there left for Idra right now?
He has no
There are only 8 Mutas, and there's 11 Zerglings on the field. Suddenly Boxer moves in. GG, and that's it. And he's able to do it again. Boxer takes out Idra 2-0.
All right. Do we want to watch the... Well, there was a lot to say. Both... Honestly, I think the... Oh, yeah, remember how we started games?
Subscriber detected.
Omnivy is chillin' for 2 months. Much excite.
Honestly, I think if the audio quality wasn't parting in 2020, then it wasn't so bad. Like, for my 4th cast of all, we've gotten different over time. There's some value in, you know, if I could tell Winter how his voice would feel in a decade, maybe a little less, then maybe he would calm down a little bit. But knowing him pretty well, he wouldn't.
Carrier has arrived.
And his name is John C.
So, yeah.
Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now?
This was also in this man's defense. Nobody really knew how esports casting, at least in English, was done yet. More does not necessarily equal better. I definitely was of the idea that you need to just keep talking. Like you're filling the time. And that is true. I will say, to this day, just keep talking. But, like, to an extent, okay? There's value in not always talking. Though that was a relatively action-packed game. Did you make the decision to make this more than a hobby? Well, when I got a sub button from Twitch, which was a much more involved and dramatic process, and also partially like just people getting grandfathered in, which I wasn't one of them. But I got about 200 subs in the first day, which was a lot because this was before Amazon ate Twitch and there was Amazon Prime. So then I was like, and then after a few months, it was enough that I could... It didn't seem like a bad idea. Yeah, I think there's a lot of... I think I'm enthusiastic now. I heard myself giving a lot of credit to these players. This was before I was ever Grandmaster. I didn't get Grandmaster till near the end of Wings of Liberty. Maybe it was Heart of the Swarm, even. So, at this point, I'm just thinking, these players are gods and they know way better. And honestly, while it looked kind of silly, the game, like, it was relatively similar to what we saw in that Diamond Terran game from Bluntenstein. But, yeah, things have evolved dramatically. But this is why I do love and hate. I love making fun of Terrans. We're like, oh, the game is so hard, and it's so hard to play against the other races when they've been doing the same builds for a decade. Like, literally, not figuratively. Like, we just saw reactored Hellions against our. Yeah, there are slight details, and maybe he should have gone Banshee instead of. Well, he did win the game, so. But yeah, I think it's still, even with the slower start, SC2 obviously a very there's a lot of reminiscing here. I didn't actually cast regularly. It wasn't until I think we'll go a little further down the list, but it wasn't until about, what, 2017 that I started casting regularly? I mean, I did cast, such as it was, but... yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people like, you should play against Grubby. Grubby switched from Warcraft 3 and Heroes of the Storm, as you know he was a legend, to Starcraft 2. To that I say... you guys like parting as well, right? Well, here's parting versus Grubby.
Charge on Archon right off the bat and just break up the ramp and make sure his opponent doesn't get a third. This can be a good map for Charge.
Let's see what that match looks like.
The Colossus are kind of stuck in a tough position to deal with the Zealots, but we'll have to see. No, it looks like Grubby going for Blink. He wants that micro potential.
Yeah, that's an interesting camera angle. The zoom meeting angle.
Blink, and I hear a Warp Prism.
And also, why is your face on the screen? Always an important question.
A Stalker, 2 Zealots, making sure he can't.
The audio is better,
making
though.
Sure that the Warp Prism isn't really a threat right now. And Grubby will be taking his third base first. He still only has a single robotics facility, but he was able to take out Parting's other, so he'll stay on a linear amount of Colossus less than his opponent, at least for the time being. Looks like Parting has remade his second robotics. He realizes the importance of having that Colossi count. A single charge not going to make his way up to scout where his opponent's army is. Grubby,
how many Colossi do you have in your Colossi account?
Of Parting is on the way with 2 more Colossus. I just feel like this entire game, Grubby has somehow been keeping his supply up, but Parting just has the unit composition that's made for winning the Protoss matchup, the Protoss vs. Protoss matchup, and right now Parting's just building up to it. Once he has 2-2, he's going to go up to 7.
Remember when PvP was whoever had more lasers?
They have 2 upgrades. They have double the damage, they have double the armor, and by double the armor I mean 2 more armor upgrades than their opponent. Grubby somehow keeping his supply up, but suddenly everything he had
I see we've been doing poor math for a decade now.
Colossi fall as the Immortal bashes its way through. Parting not in too much of a better supply than his opponent. Grubby making a good warp in with the charge lots, might be able to put these Colossi back. More Archons coming up, but actually Grubby is going to be pushing it back. Can Grubby turn it around right now? The Colossi coming up, the charge lot's doing a lot of damage. The Colossi keeping their way.
No, more Colossi is way too much.
Only has the 3 Colossi left with another warp in. He might be able to tank this.
Was.
Where's the closest pylon for his opponent? Parting. Parting doesn't have a pylon anywhere close. He's forced to retreat. If Grubby can remake this done, but still Grubby is down in the army supply at 76 to 55. The upgrades are 2-2 to 1-0. Grubby's still looking in such a tough situation.
Another 4-player map, by the way.
Back this far into the game. A fleet beacon is now being created.
Does the game just end?
Now
what?
Being created for.
Does it end?
Parting.
What? Oh, I think I know. Ah, yes, there are 2 parts. Because not only was I not partnered on Twitch, I wasn't partnered on YouTube. So that means you only have a max of 15-minute videos. I'm not sure if part 2 was ever uploaded, that one. But I had like 3,000 YouTube subs. Or something. So that video has 147 views. So, well, it has a few more now. We'll never know. Does Grubby turn it around? I don't think so. That was definitely trending towards Parting. He had more laser boys. Well, so Honestly, most of the issues, I like to think I despite Jimmy, focus a lot on production quality. Maybe less than consciously over time, I realized how much that matters. But that was a couple months after the first cast. I think we developed a little, and now we're here. Yada yada. Now we're here. So, speaking of which, we're back to Angry Coach. I hope you enjoyed that trip down memory lane. And now we're gonna continue much more cynically, but with essentially the same